Welcome back to the TubaDylan Show. This is my show, and I can do what I want. Now, by contra, what contra are you talking about? No, I don't know how to play anything on bass. Nope, don't know how to play anything on bass. Just stuff that I've played on bass. Don't know how to play that either, really. But I'm good at being a poser. In poser. Gotta turn this effect off quick. Oh, much better. Hopefully you can just hear it. You know, I think the Schillers are from the same factories that produce some of the other decent horns, so don't know what to say about it. I don't think they do much with their horns, if anything. I mean, they just take the box and unload it from the big bin off the San Francisco coast or wherever it is that they're close to. Not sure where Schiller's from. But, you know, they get a big bin from China, and then they take the boxes out, and then they send them to you. Where some of the other guys, I think, check their horns. Wessex, Mac Brass. They'll play them and check them over and make sure they're all right. And fix parts that aren't. Wessex and King. I will tell you as the king that Jin Bao has nothing to do with me. However, I suspect that I have at least one, if not two tubas, maybe 3 tubas made by them. But I don't truly know. that's terrible. A Wessex. Well, that's a good choice. A very good choice for a tuba. The Wessex tubas are well made, well represented, well designed. Oh, yes. Contra, meaning like one that goes on your shoulder, like boom, like a big, I don't know what you would call it. One that goes on your shoulder? Like a bazooka? Is that a contratuba? Oh, that's terrible. Sorry. May have to turn this off. Let's try. Oh yeah, TubaZooka. Wow. You actually bought a TubaZooka? Far out, dude. That's different. Like what kind of thing are you gonna play it with? It's just for your school? Well, favorite Wessex model for what? There's so many different tubas, and different tubas have very different pros and cons. So I know somewhat about the Wessex line, and I could even just bring it up right here and look at it if I didn't. Oh, B-flat tuba. Okay. Well, B-flat tuba is the one tuba that I don't play much. I happen to have one. Used to have a sousaphone, and that's about it. I'd have to look at their webpage. Here, I'll look at their webpage for you. I like that you're chatting with me, so I'm going to put down this bass and probably save most of you much harm from having to listen to any more of that anyways. Hold on. I'll help you out with that. You can watch me put this away. Boop. Switch it. So let's just talk Wessex tubas for a minute here. I have to bring up some proper music here. Can you hear me okay? Let's see here. Now, it might be that this mic, I turned this mic down because it was peaking last night when I tried it. So hopefully it's a little bit better now. Although it might sound soft. If it is, let me know out there in didgeridoo internet land. Now that we have some dramatic music to go along with our show, I'm going to go to the Wessex Tuba website. we'll look over here at their B-flat tuba offerings from Wessex shop. They do have a pretty decent and easy to follow website. Very nice aesthetic look to it. Okay, so if I was a B-flat tuba player, what tuba from Wessex would I be looking at? Are you saying as an all-around? Oh no, the didgeridoo has been a terrible trouble for me. As a tuba player, I've tried it several times, and I have very thin lips, which are good for a lot of things on tuba, on all brass instruments. But I don't know if they're great for playing didgeridoo. I've never been able to get my lips to really buzz into that didgeridoo and produce any kind of lasting circular breathing effect on that thing. Unfortunately, I wish I could play that because it's so cool. I love it. It's such a cool instrument. I'm looking at the Wessex offerings right here. That'll probably focus. It's their beautiful website, Wessex. I in no way endorse their products, but have played Wessex tubas and do have one Wessex tuba here at my house. You've got the B-flat 4/4 with 5 valves, the Viverna from $4,000. Let me take a peek at that. Ooh, that's pretty. I mean, I think the 5-valve B-flat tuba is something to behold. In some ways, I actually kind of wish I had just played that instead of a C tuba. Other than the fact that they're just so big, those things. They're just super big. But that's a nice looking tuba. I don't know. Doesn't look that much different than mine. My Wilson. Wind support and embouchure technique. I think you're probably right. There's a different type of embouchure to that, like a relaxation embouchure, like something where you have to be much more relaxed and slow about it. At least that's what I hear. Maybe I'm totally wrong, and that's why I've never been able to get it, you know. Or maybe I've never. I don't think it's that I've never played a decent one. I think it's just my own problem. But I have trouble doing it. But we're still talking about the Wessex tuba brand here. I'm not going to go off topic. The Prokofiev. Okay, let's take a look at that. It's got a bunch of names for them. Ooh, the B-flat, the Dragon. There we go, 5 valves, Prokofiev. Okay. That's expensive for a Chinese tuba. All right, let me take a look at this guy. So the Wessex B-flat 6/4, 5-valve Prokofiev TB 693 HP. Ooh, wow, and he's got a ton of pictures up here. Silver finish in stock now. For a gold lacquered or brushed silver finish Prokofiev, your fully refundable payment will reserve an instrument for you from the next available shipment, expected into stock September 2021. So it says in stock now, but does that mean you're going to get one if you order it now? Yeah, I mean, $99,750. That's not an arm and a leg, though. I'll tell you, human beings are that you can't put any money to the life of a human being, of course. But I will tell you that even as a Even if you work your whole life making minimum wage, your arm and your leg are worth way more than $10,000. So, but I do know that that's just a figure of speech. Yeah, an original 6/4 double B flat designed by Chuck Nichols and all handcrafted with sheet metal for a highly responsive and totally flexible tuba, which is exceptionally lightweight for its huge size. The tone of this tuba very much, does that say resurrects the great American tubas of the past? Awesome, it brings them back, but with much better intonation and response. The sound has to be heard to be believed, maybe the best double B flat tuba in the world. Bore size 1 through 3, 750, 790, 870, 20-inch bell, 24 pounds. Yeah, that is not too bad. I think that my Wilson weighs 30 pounds. That's my heaviest tuba. If you've seen that, I have a double B flat tuba. It's a Wilson tuba, and I think it weighs 29, 30 pounds. We're reading here about the Wessex double B flat 6/4 Prokofiev. I mean, I'm surprised by the weight of it, actually. That's the one thing so far. But I'm really happy with new design and innovation for tubas. It's super cool for all the tubists out there, because a tuba like this is a super custom tuba. However you look at it, whatever you care about who built it and how it was built, it was a newly designed thing. Let's see the features here. Oh yeah, this is big. Entirely handmade with hand-hammered bell and larger bows. New design lead pipe by Chuck Nichols, ex-U.S. Army Band Europe, to improve response. Yeah, Jonathan hired this guy Chuck Nichols because the guy's some sort of brass protege, genius kind of guy. I wouldn't doubt it. There's so many of these people out there, and a lot of them haven't gone into the commercial world. So good for Chuck Nichols. I mean, one of my favorites is Rob Stewart in California. He's in Arcadia, which is in Southern California, like not too far from Pasadena. And that guy did incredible things with people's horns in Los Angeles. He built Jim Self's Fluba tuba. Rob Stewart did. But he's never got with a company and said, I'm going to design a commercially available tuba like Wessex does and some of these other manufacturers. So I think that's super cool. Like, good for Chuck Nichols for doing that. And I hope he's getting some good payout for that. I mean, that's a lot of work to involve your life in music and in manufacturing. That's pretty awesome. Exceedingly lightweight due to the handmade manufacturing. All nickel slides, stainless steel valves which are vented for smooth legato playing. It's awesome. Wyvern engraved valve buttons. Yeah, I like their valve buttons. Supplied in latched hard case. Supplied with Wessex Chuck custom mouthpiece. Every tuba individually quality checked before accepted at the factory. I guess there's Tony Clements. Quote from Tony Clements, who seems to have owned and tried just about every tuba in existence. Tony says, quote, I purchased a Prokofiev just to play Star Wars. Now this is my go-to tuba for just about everything. If I could buy 3 for my wind orchestra, 2 for my brass band, and 5 for my community band, I would, in a heartbeat. Dude, Tony, good for you. You have all those bands. I'm pretty sure that you play in most of them, but some of them you conduct as well. That's a lot going on, man. You must be like super lonely from COVID if those bands aren't meeting. if you do almost exclusively big group playing and want one tuba for that, go get yourself one. So now, the never-ending story of the B-flat tubas. In looking at pictures of this tuba, I can say it looks like a big, 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 big horn. I mean, I don't know, it's so cool. I don't have room for more tubas. Why do you do this to me? Why do you people do this to me? Yet my York Brunner is the same as it always is. It sits there, it tarnishes. It's great, it sounds great, it plays great. The valves are unbelievably smooth. They move like butter. Now, I've always said, the first 2 years I had that tuba, the third valve would stick from time to time. And at some point, whatever it was, broke in, and the valves are perfect. It's got the Bauer field, or whatever they're called, valve group. Yeah, Tony Clement's like, he was one of the original mail order tuba dudes in America. Yeah, he had a mail order tuba internet business when, you know, Amazon only had books, I think. I think so. So, and he, you know, he's probably the first one to take pictures of like riding around on his Harley with tubas on his back and stuff like that. So that's super cool about Tony. Yo, I'm looking at this B-flat tuba and I'm like, this thing is absolutely incredible. Absolutely amazing. I don't know. I really like the C tuba. I don't know what to say about it, but I'll tell you what. Is this going to change? I think it did change. Anyway, when I was a kid, I grew up playing piano, playing keys, just by ear when I was bored, because we had a piano. It's the same piano I have right back in there. But anyway, also have a piano in another music room here at the castle. But the piano's in C. The violin's in C. I also played violin as a kid. And for me, switching to C tuba just made sense for being able to read and play music of all types. And I learned over time, even though in the early days of my playing tuba, treble clef was like, no, like, I don't know. I learned how to play trombone first, just bass clef. Had to deal with tenor clef at some point. That was not my favorite. And then moved to tuba and E-flat tuba. And the bass clef on C, when I finally got C tuba, made sense to me. Super sense. I gotta change the background music from time to time. These epidemic soundtracks just don't fit the mood of my show. So I'm gonna change the groove up here. Here, hold on one second. I'm gonna stretch out. Be right back. It's really your choice, E-flat or F. I mean, I chose F and C. I think the E flat and B flat are a great combination, and I think that you can have, I think music careers are dead, honestly, period. Kind of like everywhere, music careers are dead. I'm coming in to bring this camera in, actually, to a tighter shot, because I like talking to my friends here on the YouTube, and I'd rather you like see me somehow, my face more than my big fat body that can barely move. Although I'm walking a little better. I got a really bad knee, so I'm going for an MRI on Friday. Okay. Bam, boom, right there. I can see you. You see me? Okay. We were, well, yeah. If you're going to go for B flat tuba, dude, that Wessex looks so, so cool, man. I mean, I can tell you right now, at 24 pounds, I would certainly, I don't know, if someone offered me a straight up trade for my Wilson for this Wessex 6/4 B flat tuba that's 5 valves made in China, I think I would do it. What kind of tuba do I play? I play lots of tubas. We were talking about B flat tuba. You want to see my B flat tuba? Dude, I never ever play it, but I'll bring it out. As long as I don't twist my knee up on the way to get it. But I'll try. I'll try. I have never really learned to be super proficient on B flat. Not like I am on anything really, but. Oh, good. Well, that's good, because I'd rather not have to pull it out. Unless you really want me to, I'll show it to you. But I'll tell you, the Wilson tuba, I don't know if you can get that tuba for less than 14, 15,000. And I think I would trade it straight up for this Wessex Prokofiev. Because 24 pounds for a 6/4 horn. And man, I'm looking at the pictures. If that's like a satin brass finish, I don't know if it is, but it's hard to tell. It almost looks like it's got a satin brass finish. Wouldn't that be awesome? I mean, there's some pictures that are just an obvious brass. I like a lacquered horn better than a silver horn too. So that's another bonus, is that you can get this gold lacquered. Okay, they're getting some from each one. Well, they have a silver plated in stock, I guess. You could get it right now. Yeah, you're just going to have to tell them about the lefty horns. No, our friend Tuba Man here, he has to play with his left hand because his right hand doesn't work quite right. So he's got custom lefty Mono Weston tubas, which is just the most far out thing and most awesome thing ever. Yeah, like I'm feeling more and more like when I keep tearing up my legs, like what am I gonna do when I can't even carry things around? You know, that's why I like that Mac Brass double C tuba, because it's kind of small and easy to carry around. Yeah, they were just amazing custom horns that they made him the other way around with the valve cluster reversed, I guess. Yeah, absolutely incredible. Yeah, it's just a blessing that you have them. So are you gonna do some videos? That's what I want to see. I think you have some. Put them on the chat. Let me see. Does Adam have any videos on his? Oh, dude, Adam's an overcomer, man. I don't think he thinks of his life as being rough. I mean, it's rougher than people who were born totally strong in all your limbs. That's for darn sure. But that's just how he is. So he just is that way, and he overcomes it. You know. I mean, I don't know. I don't want to speak for you, man, but that's what I would think. That's what I think your attitude is. I mean, I went the opposite way. I made bad choices that have affected my body, frankly, where I'm not in nearly as good of shape as I should be or wish I was at 46 now. And you were born with it and you reversed it, like you found ways to overcome it, you know. But I've made bad choices in my life and have broken things, and now I've always had to overcome those things one step at a time. But we all have that. We all go through that. We go through all kinds of challenges and different things in life, don't we? We go through life and death and sickness and suffering and pain and happiness and joy and hopefully love. Man, I found love. I just love my wife and family, and I'm just so incredibly thankful for that. Because loneliness is something that can sprout all types of weird behavior and everything else. So, not that I don't have weird behavior. I have very weird behavior. But yeah, he's totally cool. Yeah, and I could see this guy winning a major symphony job. I hope the symphonies get back up and running, and there's just a joining of people together in going to see and hear music. And you know what I think about music? Oh, that's awesome, Jack. I've been on YouTube a long time. I was the first, I think one of the first, if not the first. I don't know, Tuba Peter might have been on about the same time or even earlier than me as far as playing a tuba on the internet. But yeah, I've been on here for a while. I get a kick out of it. I love it. Oh, I enjoy my live streams. I set this up to live stream and to chat with people. And I'm here to answer questions too. I think that part of the future of music is going to be stuff like this, not just because of pandemics, but just because of technology, just because of people's lives are changing because of the technology and the communication. And I think we're pretty close even now to being able to stream so quickly that we can make music with people. This sounds crazy, but that you can make music live with people on the other side of the world online. People can't really do it yet, but I think it's going to happen. Yeah, dude, Tuba Peter, he's still on YouTube. He's got way more subscribers than I do. He's worked harder than I have, frankly, so he deserves it. Yeah, but I think that guy was on there pretty early on YouTube. my first video on YouTube is the Star Spangled Banner. So I wouldn't say I'm proud of that per se, but I look back and I think that was absolutely the right choice. When a friend of mine was coaxing me to play a tuba video on YouTube, back then I was a huge sports fan. I'm not as much of a sports fan now, but back in LA I was a big sports fan, and blessed to always get tickets to the very best games and the very, very best seats. So I think that would be cool. I have a Zoom Pro subscription that I did, more just because I wanted to be able to control my family at Thanksgiving for Zoom meetings. I thought if I have the Pro subscription, I can control them, but it didn't work. But a Zoom meeting, people are doing that for the tuba world. I would like to do that. I'm more of a Renaissance man in my life, being that I haven't had a career or gigged on playing tuba for a little over 13 years now. So since I've been in Charlotte, other than sending people tuba tracks for composer friends of mine and stuff like that, but that's a different thing as far as playing out and playing gigs and doing a career of tuba. I haven't done that. But yeah, I would be happy to do a master class. I've thought about doing like private lesson tuba hangouts on the air live as a YouTube live, just like this. I think I'm semi-close to being able to do that, actually. But I'm not 100% sure I can. I would love to do it. Well, yeah, man. Everybody has depression. Depression's a real thing chemically, so psychologically speaking it is. Now, my wife is an actual psychologist, so that means I know less than nothing about it, according to her. But depression's real. This world's really scary, really dangerous, full of suffering and pain and disappointment. So to feel fear, hopelessness, to feel like you're not loved or wanted, or maybe that your life doesn't have a purpose. There's all these reasons that people get depressed, right? I think it's very normal for all of us as human beings. I mean, I hate to bring up the recent presidential election. I don't talk about politics here, and I'm not going to bring up politics, but look at President Trump. Now, we frankly don't know his heart. We can't know what he's feeling or anything like that. But it does seem like he tried to do something very good, and now somebody who's always been on the top of the world, very wealthy, very well liked and respected, according to most people who have met him. I've met him and thought he was a really interesting guy, a very nice guy. The poor guy lost everything. It almost seems like it, even though he's still super wealthy and he's the next president. But if I was to say that he probably hasn't experienced plenty of depression as the president of the United States, and also being probably the most prideful human being publicly that I've seen in almost my whole entire lifetime, despite the fact that he seemed like a personable person, he probably experiences depression too, don't we all? Don't be dark about it. That's normal. Look what Adam writes. I was bullied for my disability and went through depression. I was an athlete as well, and the people in the locker room made it worse. I found help through God's words. Well, that's kind of what I was eventually going to get to, but I totally agree with you, Adam. Like, I believe that Jesus Christ is the Son of God, and that the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob was the creator of the universe, along with Jesus Christ, before he came to earth as a person, lived a life as a person, and sacrificed himself for the sins of all mankind. And if you read his words, for some reason for me as well, it gives me hope, peace, freedom. It helps me understand love and purpose, how there's a purpose in life, and it's not... The purpose in life is not really to get, it's to give. Am I great at giving? No, I'm terrible. I mean, that's why Christ died for me. But I try every day to understand more and more about what that's about, at least. And when I'm given opportunities to give, I want to give. And I'm, like I said, I'm frankly terrible at it. That doesn't necessarily mean to give charitably or anything that you do in front of man. That was one of the big things about the message. And I don't want to preach here too much, but Adam brought it up, and I totally agree, is that I think part of the message is leading your life quietly and doing your good deeds in secret to serve God, not man. And that is something that releases you from depression and pain and hopelessness, because you know that someone bigger is there with you like a father, literally watching you and being with you and understanding those choices that you're making that are oftentimes not choices that will benefit you for the short period of time, but things that will benefit others for the long period of time are what gives people the most joy. When they understand that it's not in serving themselves, but it's serving God to help others in that way. Absolutely. I've been doing right in a humble manner. And like, I don't say that because I'm in any way humble. So I wish I was, and I do pray for humility all the time. But you just ask my wife and she'll tell you how much of a pompous jerk I can be from time to time. But just in general, if you are depressed, what he says about going to God's Word is just the best thing you can do. And I mean, that's the one document to me in my lifetime of searching that appears to be something that's extraterrestrial, that's beyond human understanding. There's something to that document that is beyond human understanding. Like evolution. Do I believe in evolution per se? Like, do I believe that human beings actually evolved from some sort of apes? No. Do I believe that DNA is sequenced in a way that provides for natural selection and survival of the fittest to a certain degree, or even sort of an unnatural selection, which like dog breeding? Of course, God put all those things in place. But there are certain things that you can't explain through evolution. One of them is huge, which is music. So if you're watching this channel, you might play tuba, you might like music. And how could somebody like Mozart, somebody like Wynton Marsalis, Reggie Watts, Ella Fitzgerald, Yo-Yo Ma, I mean, there's so many absolute greats at music. I mean, even look at the great tuba players in the world, and especially some of the great composers who've been so prolific. But if you think about all of that, how can having musical talent help you survive better than someone else and evolve? Like, a caveman could play the drums better than somebody else. It's one of those things that doesn't make sense. And I think music is a gift from God, and it's part of our connection to the spiritual world. It's probably, to me, the most cognizant part of humans' connection to the spiritual world. That's why music is so much part of the Bible. The biggest book in the Bible are the Psalms, which is a book of music. Well, yeah, seeking God. Well, wise counsel comes from reading that scripture, from reading what Jesus did and what he said, from also reading the Old Testament if you have time and you can fathom reading that much material, and comparing it to that. All those things will give you wisdom. The book of Proverbs has all these little blots and blurbs and things that just give you so much wisdom. It says the beginning of wisdom is the fear of God. And when it says fear, it doesn't mean like, oh no, God is going to stomp me out with lightning and take me and destroy me if I'm not wise. It doesn't mean that at all. It just means knowing that there's a creator in the universe and having sort of an honorable fear that whoever that creator is has some sort of purpose beyond what we might think in our own being. That is great wisdom, and that will make you seek wisdom. So it's the beginning of knowledge. It's the beginning of wisdom. Is thinking, well, it's just not about me and what my parents told me what life is. You know, it's just not that way. Well, the fear of God sure can mean many things. Yeah, but I think it's the deep awe and respect of God that makes you want to seek and follow him and seek his wisdom in life. I had to be woken up many, many times. I've seen more miracles, I think, than some people. Well, I know than some people because I know a lot of people. And I don't exactly know why I had to go through those situations or even see what I saw. But those things were important because I wasn't totally sure of God until those answers came through miracles. But yeah, I mean, respect for God, a deep love, fear, and understanding that he knows more than us. He really does, so much more than us. I think that's an important thing to understand in life, and it will help you if you have depression. Yeah, I've gone through depression. I was a songwriter at one time, used to write tons of songs, and I would say I was the best at being a songwriter when I was depressed. I feel like I'm mostly out of those feelings at this point in my life. I would say I'm on edge because I believe the world is very dangerous. And I do try to live my life day to day as best I can, and have integrity with all mankind that I run into and try to live that kind of life. But yeah, I don't know what to say. Yeah, God bless you, Jack. Dude, it's hitting me hard too, man. I mean, whatever you're saying, the world hits me every day. I mean, I'm not telling you I'm depressed about it, and I'm just telling you that there's nothing wrong with feeling depressed about it, because, hey, man, there's so much to be depressed about. But there's more to be happy about if you have a spiritual hope. If you can come to have the kind of faith in God that you know that he'll come through for you in the end. And for me, that was a spiritual change, almost like a light going on in my head that just helped me so much. And the only way to get that is to pray for it. Literally call out and ask. If you believe in him, ask God and he'll answer you. He will answer you. He does every time. Well, hey, Jack, where are you from, man? If you're still on there. I'm trying to remember where Adam's from. I want to say it's Pennsylvania, but it's hard to know. My memory's terrible. I'm an old man now. Well, that's pretty great. Well, praying for discipline, that's pretty great. I would say that I have prayed for discipline. That's cool, man. I'll think about that. I don't know. My life has been in order for a long time, so it's something that I think we all do need discipline, but I think you can get to a decent equilibrium where things fall into place, which is maybe why when you said you pray for it, I thought, do I pray for discipline particularly? Yeah, I probably don't, but it doesn't mean I haven't, or that I haven't needed it, or that I don't need it. We all need it, so. Yeah, we're in North Carolina, Jack. I've been to Baltimore. We went to the dock and the aquarium. The aquarium was very nice. We saw a dolphin show. That was before they ended dolphin shows due to, I guess, cruelty to dolphins and then COVID. I was right. Oh, man, that's great. My memory's so bad, but that means you are my true friend, if I can remember that. I really do like Adam a lot. Yeah, I like Pennsylvania. My godfather lives in Carlisle, so I've been around there a little bit. But where do you go to school in North Carolina? I know a thing or two about North Carolina because I've been here in North Carolina for 13 years. Greensville. Oh, okay. Jared Williams. I don't know if I know Jared Williams. It doesn't sound unfamiliar. It sounds like a name I've heard before. But Williams is a very common name. So I have a good friend whose name is William Williams. You know Tommy Johnson. You guys probably have all heard of Tommy Johnson, right? That's not his actual name. Yeah, sweet. Add me as a Facebook. No, you sending Jack. Hey, Jack, hit me up on Facebook. I'll add you as a Facebook friend, too. Not TubaDylan, Dylan King. Dylan King. I'll add you. I was going to say, so Tommy Johnson, everybody knows him by Tommy Johnson. His actual name is John Thomas Johnson. John Thomas Johnson. But he never went by John, according to Tommy. He was always Tommy. Which I thought was cool, because my brother was always Tommy too. But now he's distinguished. And his name is Tom. But he is actually a Thomas, my little brother is. I don't know how I got. It's totally off this topic. But I guess it doesn't matter. It's my show. But I like that people are chatting in my chat room. And I've got 6 viewers. Yes! If we get 3 more, we'll get the all-time record. And it's 1 o'clock and I'm still not super tired yet. Yeah, I hear you, Dwayne. Praying for patience in the practice room. It's been a long time since I've had to play in a practice room. And I wasn't much of a practicer. I was so blessed and sort of full of myself at UCLA. There was a time, I don't know why, but when I went to college and I was playing in the practice room, I had it better than everyone there. And like, I don't know, I took it for granted. Like I think I knew how good I had it. But you know, I don't know. It's the way my life's always gone. That's what happens when you're a prince. Like, that's just what happens. I don't know what to say. Go over to the UK and talk to their royalty, and you see how their lives are. It's different than most people. I don't know what to say. But yeah, when I was at UCLA, there was the Henry Mancini practice studio, or the Henry Mancini studio, was my full-time practice room. They really wanted me to come there and play tuba for them. So I said, you don't have a tuba big enough, you don't have a locker big enough for my tuba. And I'm not kidding, folks. When I went to UCLA, or when I got into UCLA, I got that Yorkbrunner and said, I need a bigger locker because I can't fit it in any of these lockers. And they gave me a practice studio. And I got the lock to it and everything, and I had it for 2.5 years. I used to sleep in there almost every day. Like between classes, I would go over there. I had a little mattress and a sleeping bag, and I had my horns there, and I had a file cabinet with all my music in it. I had a radio. I used to like to listen to the radio a lot, and I would just hang out there all the time. Do you know a Mila's Yos by any chance? I don't know Mila's Yos. Much simpler times. Grew up going there every weekend trying out new tubas with federally listening right next door. Oh, Baltimore music, I bet, is what you're talking about. I've been there, yeah, I went there. My brother lives in D.C., so I spent a couple hours at Baltimore one day. Really, really had a great time. But the best thing about it, I remember, is that they had several tubas. They probably didn't have a ton compared to how many that they've had before. I know Miles Mosley. I don't know, the bass player. He's a friend of mine. Oh, Milas or Milas. I don't know. Oh, anyway, yeah, I went to Baltimore Brass one time. Not like anyone cares, but I'll mention that because this is my tuba channel. Oh, Oystein Bodsvik, Total Tubist? Is that the one? That's the one that he did, right? Yeah, I bought my Eastman. Did I buy my Eastman? No, I bought my Eastman from Dylan Music, Matt Walters. I didn't get my Eastman from him. Yeah, the total tubist. I think I would really enjoy it. I've seen a few of his videos on YouTube, and I think he has a lifetime membership for $500. I'm that kind of guy. I'm like the kind of guy who ends up buying the lifetime membership and then never ever going or using the site at all. Excuse me. Oh, it's a Craig Knox and John DeCesare thing. Okay. I've seen that one too. They are not as good at marketing as Oystein. I will just say that. I have not watched any of their videos, frankly, because the few videos that I've seen linked around looked like they were crummy webcam production value. Now, they may have fixed that, but I'm very snooty about production value, not like I have good production value here. I try, but oh, well, that's great to hear, Jack. Man, that's awesome. I'm glad. I'm glad we made a difference. We're up to 7 viewers. This is becoming an actual show, folks, because once you get to 10 viewers, you're usually approached by major networks. That's what we're waiting for here. I was told by ABC and NBC that they would not talk to me until I had more than 10 live viewers at a time. Fox would not take my calls at all. Don't know why. But I'm glad it makes a difference. Yeah. Dude, I love Adam because he just tells it what like it is without telling it. We all know what's going on. Well, we kind of know. We kind of don't know. The one thing we don't know about what's going on is that from day to day, we just don't know what's going to happen. No, I haven't done anything with North Carolina brass. Since I've been here in North Carolina, other than playing with my local community band that I found, I have not played out on the tuba or, you know, any other instrument other than I do solos and things for church. And they, oh, it's 1:11. That's a cool time. I see it behind me on this side. No, I haven't done anything with North Carolina brass. I miss playing out. When I was in LA, I played a lot. And came here and I don't play at all. I mean, I switched careers. I literally went from being a musician who liked filmmaking, videos, and photography just as a hobby to sort of making filmmaking videos into a career. And I've just been blessed beyond belief. So I don't have to, I don't have to be a musician anymore. And as much as I loved it, because playing music is the greatest thing ever, that's a tough life. It's a tough life being a musician. I'm not going to say anything, even for the very best successful musicians. It's not the easiest life. And right now it's even harder because this is what I was going to talk about. Now this is something slightly profound, but here's the deal. At some point, the electric grid, all the lights are going to turn off. All the world's going to go dark. And there's going to be terror. But I like to think that there's no way we can survive if we run outside of our houses or our apartments or wherever we live with a machine gun, a bunch of grenades, a ticket to a jet plane that's going to take us to our bunker in New Zealand. There's no way we could survive. I do think one way that we might survive when the times get really tough, because right now they're not tough yet, but they're going to get tough, much tougher than now. And I think that one way we can survive is that people love music and know that music brings love, and love never threatens. It doesn't mean someone's not going to kill you for your jewelry, or they're not going to kill you for a barrel of water, or maybe for the gun you're carrying, or the trumpet or the tuba. But I like to think that if society breaks down, those of us who survive, if we're able to join a drum circle and have a didgeridoo or a tuba or a trumpet or a guitar or a drum or can clap our hands, hopefully that we can still praise and sing songs to God for him to deliver us, because he will deliver us. And I think that music is a spiritual connection to God and towards ultimately fulfillment and deliverance. So I think that when we are reborn in the kingdom of God as glorified beings, whatever that next level that God has intended for us, that the music will be so incredibly glorious, and that there's a reason we've heard all this music in our lives, or we've played it or learned it. And I think it will extend beyond this life into the next spiritual dimension. That's kind of crazy in a way to think about. But for me, it does help me overcome sort of the depression of day-to-day life, day-to-day news, whatever that might be for all of us, because we all have to overcome serious, tough, severe challenges, don't we? We just do. It's part of it. Yeah, dude, Adam's right too, man. Today's society, it's hard to express what we're feeling. It's easier to be inside of a screen and be like, kind of represent ourselves as something we want to be, but honestly, it doesn't always represent ourselves as what we are. That's one of the reasons why I love humor, because humor can kind of bring us back down to earth about ourselves. To have a sense of humor, in a way, there's a connection to humility. I'm not saying you're humble if you have a sense of humor, but if you can poke fun at yourself and not take yourself so seriously, then I think it's a little easier to love your enemy, if that makes any sense. And loving your enemy is a tough thing to do, but it's an absolutely godly and wonderful thing to do. It's what Jesus tells us to do. But it's not natural or normal. My elementary school music teacher told me that music is the only universal language. That stuck with me all the years later, and it's one of the reasons I'm still with it. Well, music is, of course, a universal language. Somebody said, I forgot who said it, but somebody of prominence, it was like Picasso or somebody said, what did they say? They said, art is the process of filling in space, and music is the process of filling in. Falling in love with the drum. Falling in love. Oh, it's so off. Whatever. Art is the process of filling in space. Music is the process of filling in time. That's what I was getting at. And as the universal language, yeah, I suppose it could be thought of as a universal language. Everybody can beat a drum if you have a rhythm, you know. Tonality has changed over time, so I don't necessarily think that that is universal. That's something to think about. But music, in that sense, is a universal language, I think, in that all people sort of just want to tap to the beat, you know? Was that a PT6 that I played? No, the closest thing that I played to a PT6 was the Allen Bear 4/4 Mono Wesson piston tuba that they had. Adam saw that tuba maybe if he went in the tuba room at the IET conference. But no, I haven't played a BNS PT6. Carol Yonch, I think, won her symphony job on that and probably still plays that as her double C tuba. As far as I know, I think that's what she plays. Yeah, but I don't know. I haven't played that. The PT6 gives you hope. Is that your dream tuba, the PT6? I bet it's pretty awesome. Yeah, there's something about the 4/4 tubas. That's why I like the Eastman so much. And that's got a small bore, and then it's got the big pancake bell. So it's kind of a combination of the dexterity and sort of ease of playing and slotting notes to foofy cloud sound. You know, that's why I like that horn. Adam Lindsay, I have 11 tubas if you count my euphonium, or 10 tubas if you don't. I only know that because I've been asked that several times, so I decided to count. Yeah, if I could only have one C tuba, it would be a 4 or a 5/4 C tuba. And at this point, it would probably be a 4/4 tuba. I would probably go with a 4/4 tuba. I mean, in the studios, Tommy Johnson's go-to CC tuba was the 188, which I would say is a 4/4 rotary valve tuba. And Doug Tornquist has been playing on his Hirschbrunner HB1, or it might be an HB2, I don't remember, but he's had that horn forever. I think he got it. Did he get it before or after I got my Yorkbrunner? I think a little bit after I got my Yorkbrunner, Doug got that horn. But he's now the top guy in the studios, and that's his horn. He doesn't have a 6/4 tuba as far as I know. But I did some recording with my Yorkbrunner, and it was difficult for the engineers to get that sound right. That's a very, the 6/4 tuba is a very spread out, puffy sound. Professional major orchestra horn. Wish they had one. $40K for a custom 6/4 left-handed tuba. Oh man, $40K. Yeah, they do have a sound. Like, I played in several orchestras with my Yorkbrunner, and I don't know if it was the sound or just how enormous that horn was, and the fact that I had it before anyone in LA was playing on something like that, really. I mean, Tommy had a 190 at one time, but he didn't really like it too much. He played that on ET, though. Adam Lindsay. Roger Bobo in the LA Phil, I would say he played a 3/4 C tuba as his main tuba with the LA Phil, and even like the tuba he played that he recorded the Hindemith Sonata on, that it's just so awesome. It was a 184 double C tuba. Yeah, 184 is kind of a tiny little pea shooter Miraphone 3/4 double C tuba. There's a famous picture. It's so cool. It's Roger Bobo Don Green, Tom Stevens, and Ralph Sauer on the baseball field at Dodger Stadium. And Roger Bobo's bigger than all these guys. And Don Green's like a little guy. He was the second principal trumpet at the LA Phil forever, and principal trumpet for quite some time after that. Anyway, he's like a little tiny guy. And Roger Bobo's a big guy like me. He's like 6'3", back then, probably 6'3", 250 pounds. And he's standing there, and he's the umpire, and he's holding his 184, which is not a very big tuba, but it's bigger than the other guy's horns. And he's like, kicking him out of the game. It's so cool. It was like an LA Phil promotional poster from the 70s or something. You could probably find it online. Just look up like Roger Bobo, Dodgers. It might be on Roger Bobo's website in his photo page. I wouldn't be surprised. But he's holding that 184 tuba. That was his main tuba in the Los Angeles Philharmonic. When him and Tommy recorded that Mars, well, it wasn't Mars. They recorded the Planets with the LA Phil and Zubin Mehta, and the LA Phil. Whenever that was, it was in the 80s or something. The greatest, craziest, most awesome Planets tuba performance you'll ever hear is Zubin Mehta, LA Phil, with Roger Bobo and Tommy Johnson, the Planets. They put the guy the mixing engineer stuck microphones down their bells and like had the tuba at like Spinal Tap 11 in his mix, like on that recording. It's so cool. Yeah. And then you have arguably the two greatest tuba players to ever live. You have the most recorded tuba player to ever live, and like the orchestral tuba player who changed the tuba forever and made it a virtuosic instrument in Roger Bobo. They both did in their own particular ways. You know, what people don't know about Tommy Johnson, and if you really think about it, it's very interesting. Tommy played, I think probably some people may have beat out Tommy possibly at this point, but Tommy played in the studios. He might have played his first gig in the 50s in the studios in TV and film. And he was playing until just a few weeks before he died in 2006. And he was the most, he was not just the most in-demand tuba player in Hollywood, he was one of the most in-demand musicians, period. He played, and you know, his tuba playing is iconic because he played in the majority of TV and film from like 1959 to 2006. And he was always playing on things. He was playing on rock and roll records, jazz records, jingles, commercials, major motion pictures, television series, television shows. So one thing that I think about is that, without a doubt, and Jim Self will tell you this, Doug will tell you, they'll all tell you, no tuba player was ever recorded and probably will ever be recorded more than Tommy Johnson. And if you think about this, all things that are recorded and aired in broadcast television, now this is not with the internet. The internet's different, although I think it's going back and forth to satellites, but I'm not sure if my internet signal right now, this live video going to you, is in any way being broadcast into space. But radio signals, radio waves, anything that's broadcasting on the radio, it's literally bouncing around and flying out there into space, and so are TV signals. I mean, We all know that's true. If you've seen Contact with Jodie Foster, you know how that works, right? And think about, there's no tuba player in history who has, their sound has gone out into the universe a gajillion times over more than Tommy Johnson. I've had 6 lessons with him. He's one of the goats. Always learned so much music out of him. Taught my teacher Velvet Brown, so he's kind of a grandfather tuba figure to me. Are you talking about Roger Bobo as a grandfather, or Tommy Johnson was a Tommy Johnson was kind of a maybe not a grandfather figure to me, because we were friends. Yeah, well, Velvet Brown played the Bruce, recorded the Broughton. Tommy never recorded it. It was written for him, I think, but he never recorded it. Oh, yeah, Bobo. What a great guy. I've never met him in person. I used to hear lots of stuff from Tommy about him. Tommy used to tell me how much I would love him, and, oh, you should take a lesson with Roger. You really should. You know, I should have. Roger Bobo still is teaching. He's teaching lessons virtually now. I've seen him pitch it quite a bit on his Facebook. Hey, if I was Roger Bobo and I could charge $100 for a Zoom hour, yeah, I would do that. I'm a weird dude. I like giving away knowledge, so not that I would be worth studying with, although I know a lot about music, so I think I could help a lot of people with their playing if I did private lessons. But I just don't have time. And if I ever do have time, and I've told people here on YouTube, I would like to give free live lessons on YouTube. So if any of you who are listening, my now 4 current viewers, because I've been on for a while, I guess. I don't even know. An hour and a half almost. If I can ever set this up, I would love to get one of you guys on and just do a virtual Zoom lesson and chat about your playing. I promise to be relatively positive and have some good pointers. And I will probably comment on your video quality because I'm obsessed with that. Yeah, the way Velvet plays, I think she'd be a really fun teacher. I've listened to her record and I loved it, so I think she'd be pretty cool. Oh, nice. Thanks, Adam. I'll tell you something about Tommy Johnson that I never knew. This is going to sound weird, but I don't take it in any kind of weird way. I don't mean it that way. I grew up in LA, and I'm friends with all kinds of people all around the world. But you know, I knew Tommy really well. I studied with him for 5 years. Went to his house several times. Met his wife. I always thought Tommy Johnson was a white guy. And until I went to his funeral and saw all of his relatives, and it all kind of went, oh, wow. And I saw pictures of him as a kid. And yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say he's a black guy either, but he was just Tommy. He was just mixed. Like, I never thought of him as anything. I don't look at people like that. I don't think this guy's a white guy. But some people are just obviously like, Velvet Brown, she's a black woman, or African American, if you don't want to hurt somebody's feelings or whatever. But I'll tell you, I know Tommy Johnson. I knew him for years and years, and you know, it was after he died that I realized, oh, well, Yeah, I guess he was kind of a black guy, but I never even knew it. I mean, not that that makes any sense. Like, it's not, that doesn't define anybody's character. It's their character that defines who they are. But just for some reason, I always thought he was a white guy. I don't know why. I always thought that was weird. Oh, personal favorite tuba players. Yeah. Most of the pictures of Tommy are black and white. Well, Tommy, if you look at him, he's kind of mixed. He's like Barack Obama kind of thing. Like, he's just, but I never thought of him. I just never even crossed my mind that he might have been a black guy. And then I saw the kid picture, his childhood pictures, and met some of his relatives at the funeral and stuff, and thought, oh, okay, yeah, I guess he's a black guy. It was weird, Well, it's cool to hear about Tommy because most of the pictures are black and white. Yeah, there's a cool picture of him playing the Rob Stewart double, the CF double tuba. And I remember when they were talking about that horn. So Tommy wanted a horn that was a literal double tuba, like a double French horn, that was a C and F in one. And Rob Stewart took, I believe it was a Yamaha 822 Jim Self, like what I've got downstairs. And can I rap? Dude. Yo, 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 yo. This is really a thrill. Give me a pickle, I'll make it a dill. TubaDylan, I say. No, I can't rap. I cannot rap. Arnold Jacobs, he just kind of floated his tuba, like just, his music just bounced. It just bounced the way he plays that tuba. Unbelievably cool. Yo, Dylan going in. Oh, man. A funny tuba rap video. Now, that wouldn't be funny. Look. Well, I've got to say, I am 1/128th black. So, that could give me a little bit of, like, rap vibe, but not really so much. I have performed with a hip-hop orchestra. You can look it up online. It's called the Dakar Hip Hop Orchestra, where Double G is the leader of the group. He's a sax player, quite a cool cat. He's got a hip hop orchestra out in LA, and I was one of the original tuba players for that group. Oh yeah, I have an interview with Bill Pritchard too that I need to post from that same time. But that interview, we hit it off so much, that interview went like 2 hours long. And when I pulled it into my computer and started editing it, I was like, oh, I'm never going to get around to even just listening to this, because I don't like listening to myself, frankly. But I had fun with Aubrey. Yeah, Aubrey's a dedicated dude. So that's a guy who has just innate music talent and grew up in a music family and decided that he was going to go full throttle and become an orchestral tuba player, and did it. So, good for him. It's cool that he teaches at UCLA, my alma mater. So I like that. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I had fun doing that interview too. I was just kind of honored because I knew who he was, and And that was cool. I got to post that Bill Pritchard interview. I'm so lacking in content. My day job, which means a lot to me, sort of gets me at weird times and weird hours, and I have to work sometimes extensive hours at it, doing what I do. So, you know, this whole YouTube thing, it's more of a fun side thing. Yeah, I'm more motivated to come on live and talk to you when the kids are asleep than put together a whole edited interview. But I still have that interview with Bill Pritchard, so I want to post that one of these days. Yeah, Aubrey can really play. He's musical, and he's worked very hard at his mechanics so that he can. That's the whole thing about these instruments here. What playing on any instrument, whether it be a tuba or whatever it might be, is a balance between the music you can hear in your head, which is your musicianship. The musician that's in you is the music that you're hearing in your head, and then your dominance of the particular tool you are holding and playing, and how well you can get that music in your head to go through that tool. Aubrey seems like someone where, you know, he's worked very, very hard at his tool in order to get the music out, and he's totally succeeded at it. That could be some ridiculous BS that I said right there, but whatever. It's getting late. And by BS, I mean belly sandwiches, because I don't curse on this show. You all heard Aubrey's Bach recordings on CC Tuba. So good. Oh, yeah. But who was the first person to do Bach recordings on the internet? It's right here. TubaDylan. That's right. I was going to cemeteries and playing tuba on crappy cameras and throwing it on YouTube before anyone cared. That's right. Dude, I love hanging with you guys, but I'm gonna have to call it quits relatively soon, as much as I love doing these shows. Yeah, I want to get more people involved about it. I don't really care that I only have a couple of viewers. I really enjoy talking to you guys. So step by step, I plan on even upping this live game in here, and you know, moving to not just because of my cameras and all this junk, but one of these days I want to make music with my crazy setup, not rap, hopefully. That's part of my plan. But another part of my plan is to be able to get the audience involved either in a video conference format, like hooking Zoom into this somehow, or just a call-in. So I don't know if any of you have seen this guy. He's kind of dirty, so I don't really recommend him too much. But there's a guy named Mark Rubelet, who has 1 million subscribers here on Facebook, who, despite his crazy dirtiness, I think he's very witty and he's a great musician. And he makes up music on the spot. And he also has a call-in number that's an open line. So I'm not going to say the next show I'm going to have an open line, but it's one of my plans, and that's one of the reasons I got this Rode podcast mixer over here. I don't know if you can see it. It's got these rainbow buttons on here. Anyways, that can Bluetooth to my phone, and I have a Google phone number, and maybe on the next show I'll put the phone number up and we can test it out and see if anyone would like to call. Maybe Adam, if he's around, can call me. But whoever would want to, it'd be an open line. Oh, Mark Rebele is so So interesting, that guy. Huh, he's just so fun to watch, and he's both encouraging and discouraging. He's encouraging because he doesn't care. Like, he's just awesomely confident. He's slightly discouraging because his rhythm and his timing and his pitch are all so good, and he just makes it up, and it's fantastic. He's just fantastic. So one of my favorite people on YouTube, and I rarely get to play him because, like I said, he's absolutely foul and dirty and adult, and I have small kids, and they don't need to be seeing that. So, and most of the time they're around, so I'm not going to watch that either. But yeah, he's the definition. Reggie watches too. Those two guys are like, you know what? I'm just going to take this little, I don't need all this sophisticated recording equipment. I'm going to take a looper and just either push buttons or make noises with my mouth, or a combination of both. And I'm just going to make music and not care. And I think they both got good at it kind of on the job. So I suck at it, but it's sort of part of my plan to try it more. If I could just stay away from wanting to use puppets and everything else. Or just talking my brain off to you guys. The thing is, when I try to make music with this crazy studio, it turns out to sound more like raw flesh hitting the inside of an out-of-tune piano than raw talent. But, you know, to each their own. Maybe there's an audience for the TubaDylan music show. Just one of my sort of crazy dreams. But with that, my friends, especially my new friend Jack here, I hope you're doing well, Jack. I hope you feel a little bit better. We're all in the same boat, so don't feel like you're alone if you're not always feeling great about the state of the world, the state of your life. But, you know, you can't really do much about the world, but you can always do something about your own life. You can always do something about how you affect the world. So maybe tomorrow, try to do some sort of good for someone, or even try to do some real good for yourself, and know that it's worthwhile, that God wants good things to happen on this earth, despite all the bad things that are happening all the time. Yeah, God bless you too, Adam. Everybody who's watching, all of you, may the great God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob bless all of you. Have a wonderful night. I love you all. I wish you peace. I wish you great music and love and patience and freedom. Good night, y'all.